If I look at the thermometer, I think it's still summer. But if I look at the calendar, today's the first day of fall. So I thought today would be a great day to dig through my palettes and find something that reminds me of fall. Usually when I do these fall looks, I gravitate towards something warm and toasty and pumpkin-y, that kind of thing. But today I wanted to be a little bit different, and I'm reaching for the wine, berry, cranberry kind of colors. So if you want to see how I got this look in honor of the first day of fall, then stick around. I've already done my skin prep and I have my complexion products on. For primers, I used my Wet n Wild Hydra Depuffer under my eyes, the NYX face glue all over my face to help my makeup stay on because I need this to go about 14 hours today. And then I did the Hard Candy Smoothing Primer Balm just through my T-zone and chin where I have some enlarged pores. I have the e.l.f. Soft Glam Foundation in 20 Light Cool for my foundation, and the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer in 110 Nude Ivory for my concealer. Under the eyes, I used the Moira Set and Correct Finishing Powder in 200. You guys, it's almost gone. This is my second one, and it's almost gone. And then I used the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection Pink Powder on the rest of my face. Oh, I also primed my eyes with the Ulta, what is this called? Matte Eye Primer in Nude. I think this looks different now. This isn't the same packaging that they have, but mine's almost gone. I will do my bronzer and blush after I get my eyes done to make sure that my undertones don't compete with what I end up with on my eyes. The primary palette that I'm going to use today is the Tarte Gilded palette, and I'm primarily going to be using this top row. Since I already have my complexion products on, I'm not going to pin my bangs back, but I will kind of sweep them away so that they're not in the way. I just realized I didn't do my brows, so I'm going to take care of that and I'll be right back. I find it easier to do my eye makeup if I've got my brows done because they kind of give a frame for your eyes and just feel like it makes my face look a little more complete. If you have dark eyebrows, it might not be as much of an issue as when they are super blonde and you can barely see them. All right, so as I usually do, I am going to use the lightest color in the palette to set my eye primer. And before I do this, I always check with my 10X to make sure that there's no creasing so that I'm not setting those creases in. And if there are any, generally all you need to do is just kind of tap it out a little bit. And once you set it, you should be fine. Now, one thing that this palette doesn't have is a lighter pink shade that I kind of like to use in the crease and transition area just to kind of start that blend. So I'm going to see real quick if I can find one. Yeah, I think I'm going to go into this Rose Quartz and use this shade right here. I don't know. I think it's probably not necessary, but I feel like using something in the undertone that you're going for just kind of helps prep the skin a little bit better and keeps things from pulling into an undertone you don't want them to. Does that make sense? It's almost like now that I've laid down this cool base, the shadows will remain a little more cool toned, whereas if my skin and this ivory were the base, then they might pull a little more warm. I don't know. Probably not necessary, but I did it anyway. Now I'm going to go into just a little bit denser of a brush. This doesn't have a name on it. I have no idea what it is. And I'm going to go into the next deeper shade. And I'm going to start building up the crease a little bit, deepening that, creating some dimension. So how are you doing with the change of season? I don't know if you still have kids at home, back to school time. How's that going? If you're a grandparent, how are your grandkids doing? Kind of wrapping up the summer, vacations ending, that kind of stuff. Or maybe you are an empty nester and you go on vacation once all the kids go back to school. Do you have any plans along those lines? We are not quite empty nesters, but my 18-year-old has graduated and still lives at home and is working. So we're also not in the school year cycle anymore either. For this shade, this kind of intermediate shade, I look at myself straight on in the mirror so that I can make sure that I've gone up high enough with my hooded eyes that when my eyes are open, you can still see that shadow color on my eyelids. If I don't take it up a little bit from the crease, then you can't even see it when I open my eyes. And now I'm going to a slightly smaller brush, and I'm going into the third shade there, Jazz, with a little on there. And this is going right deep in the crease, right in the crease and along this outer edge, the outer V, and I'm creating that like greater than, less than alligator mouth. People always call it a C or a 7, but it's just, to me, it looks more like a greater than, less than sign. You may have noticed that there haven't been a whole lot of videos from me lately, and that's because I have been super busy with rehearsals for the next show that I'm in, and I just came to the realization as I was sitting here getting ready for this video that opening night is 2 weeks from tomorrow. But things are going great. I have a little bit of memorization still to do, but not worried about it at all. We are doing SpongeBob the Musical, and it is as much fun as you might expect it would be. I am Perch Perkins, and my costume is fabulous. I'll put a picture up. I took one from rehearsal the other night, and I just love it. I did make it, and I'm very proud of how it turned out. If you would like to see a get ready with me for the show, let me know, and I will film that one night, either a dress rehearsal night or on a show night. Well, probably not on a show night, maybe on dress rehearsal, and share that with you. It's really fun makeup because I get to do lots of shimmer and lots of color. The palette I'm using for it is the Moira Magic Dreamer. I mean, it just screams like mermaid fish, right? I just love it. Okay, back to what we're doing here for fall. I now have that crease a little more defined, and I am going to go into a shimmer. Let's do Red Hot on the outer portion of the lid, and I'm going to put this on with a brush because I want a little more control, and these shades actually do go on really well with a brush. It's a little coppery, but not too bad. I thought also about dipping into the Galaxy Chic and using this shade right here, Aphrodite. So let's see what that does, because it's a little more wine cranberry burgundy. Yeah, I think I like that better. Of course, I'll have to layer it the same on the other side so that it looks the same. But I do have a little fallout. I will brush that away. Probably should have done my base makeup after, since I'm going kind of deep and smoky on these, but it's okay. All right, so I'm going to go back into Red Hot from the Tarte palette just to lay down the same base so that they look the same. Probably wouldn't matter because this shade from the Galaxy Chic palette from BH Cosmetic is pretty pigmented. It probably would have covered it just fine. And then I am going to go into the shade right next to that from the BH palette called Prometheus. I'm going to try it with a brush, see if I get what I want, and put that on the inner. No, that's not what I want. The camera was a little full and it stopped recording, so you didn't get me putting the shade on the inner portion of the other eye. I did use the shade out of the Galaxy Chic Prometheus, but it's a little darker than I wanted it to be. So I am going to see if I can find a lighter pinkish shade that is still cool toned. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I found what I need in the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Too Good just on my finger and just use it to lighten up this inner portion just a little bit, just to bring a little brightness there. Don't like the inner portion of my eye to be too dark because I feel like it makes my eyes look small. So there, that's what I want. And then I'm going to take this little tiny brush. By the way, this is a brush set from e.l.f. that I got a couple of holiday seasons ago. And I'm going to go into All Tied Up and just give a inner corner highlight. Just a little bit of brightness there, because now, yes, I am using 3 palettes for this. Sometimes that's what you got to do when you don't have everything you need in one palette. After wiping that off in my color switch sponge, I am going to go into Abstract with that and really lay down a little bit of darkness for a little extra drama right at the outer edge, and then kind of use it as eyeliner as well. I mean, we're just going all in for the drama. Why not? So obviously I just put the color there, and now I'm going to take and blend. This is a little bit of a stiffer brush, and I want to blend with purpose and like in a specific area. So I don't want this to just go everywhere. And the stiffer brush is going to help me do that. And then what's on the brush, I'm going to pull just under the lower lash line on the outer portion just to kind of connect that. And then I've got this fluffy brush that we used at the very beginning with those lighter shades, and I'm just going to soften the upper edges. And I think that's going to finish my eyeshadow. I'm going to go in with a black eyeliner. I almost never use black, but as dramatic as this is, I feel like maybe black would be warranted. So even though I am doing a fall-inspired makeup look, that doesn't mean that I might not create this exact same look and wear it in the spring or the summer. It's just that these tones remind me of fall. Warmer, cozier, cranberries, Thanksgiving, that kind of thing. So that's just the mood it kind of puts me in. But if I'm wearing a burgundy wine shirt in the summertime, makeup's probably going to look pretty similar to this. I'm not going to do my mascara just yet because I want to get my blush and bronzer on and then spray my face before I do my mascara. Because this is all very cool toned, I don't want a bronzer that's going to look orangey, and so I am going to use the Flower Beauty Heatwave bronzer. It has a little bit of a cooler undertone, and so we're going with that one. So I'm just going to tap that on the high points of the cheek. And even though it seems like a lot, don't panic because I'm going to blend. I have actually not been wearing bronzer a lot lately. I don't know if it's just laziness on my part or if I actually like it better, but a lot of times I will just use blush. But since we're doing kind of a full glam thing today, I thought I'd do all the bits and pieces. And then for blush, I'm actually going to use a cream blush from Del 10. This is Stepping Out, and you may say, wait a minute, you just put a whole bunch of powder on your face. How are you going to use a cream blush? It's fine. This one does just fine over powders. So I'm going to put a little on and then use a stippling brush to blend. This is really the only blush I have that is this kind of deep mauve. I actually was looking for a powder blush, and I don't have one this shade, so maybe it's something that I could be looking to add to my inventory because it's obviously something that is missing. And again, taking that sponge and just giving it another blend. And because I put a cream over that, I'm just going to take the powder brush that I used earlier when I was doing my complexion products and just kind of tap over it to set it. For setting spray, I'm going to use the Cover FX High Performance Setting Spray. This one is really a nice mist, and it's great when I have a day that I need my makeup to last a really long time because it helps it do that. And as I said, I do have rehearsal tonight. Because it's musical theater, we're dancing, we're moving, we're sweating. Makeup needs to last. I'm going to curl my lashes and put on a couple of coats of the Milani Highly Rated Tubing Mascara. Be right back. Nothing left but lips, and finding a cool toned mauve lip was almost as difficult as finding a cool toned mauve blush in my collection. But I think I've got it. The lip liner I'm using is from Rimmel, and it's Rose Quartz. And then I'm going to use the e.l.f. O-Face Satin Lipstick in Effortless. And this is a beautiful mauve. I love the packaging. And because it's a little bit matte, I am going to take just a little bit of the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Gummy Bear. Just right in the center and smash it together. I actually wiped off a little bit of it so that there wasn't quite as much. I didn't want it to be super glossy, but just a little bit. So this is my fall-inspired cranberry look. What do you think? I know this is the place where you think, the video's over, I'm out of here. But before you run, I wanted to point out that there's a new feature on YouTube called Hype. It's a little bit like a super like. I think it's only available on mobile as far as I know. And if you look down below this video and you see the description and the comments, but you don't see the hype button, if you swipe on the comments, it'll bring up the hype button. If you see the hype and you don't see the comments and you wonder where'd they go, swipe on the hype button and the comments will come back. That took me forever to figure out. Anyway, what is this hype thing that people are suddenly talking about? Each YouTube user gets 3 hypes per week. And if you come across a video that's especially interesting to you or helpful to you, and if you want to give YouTube a bigger signal that you think they should promote this video, then you can hit that hype button. It's only available to channels that have from 500 to 500,000 subscribers. And if you hype a smaller channel, it actually is weighted more heavily than if you hype a larger channel. The other thing is, if you don't see it on a video, it might be because the video is too old. The video has to have been uploaded in the previous 7 days in order for it to be eligible for hype. So if you especially liked this video and you want to help my small channel, think about giving it a hype. I would very much appreciate it. And if you saw my last video where I showed you how I did the Brad Mondo butterfly cut on my own hair at home, and I told you that if I let my hair go curly, I would show you what it looked like. Well, this is what it looks like. And I really like it because normally my hair is straighter on top because it's heavier. And this cut has allowed my curls to kind of be more even all over and on top. I'm going to spin around so you can see the back. Oh. So not only do I love it when I blow it out or curl it, I also love it when I just let my natural curls come out to play. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I'm going to put it right here so you can go watch it next. If you're over 50 and you want to join our tribe here, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Stay confident, stay curious, stay you. God bless. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.